Great. And hi and welcome everyone. Welcome to our session on measuring digital success. So today we will be focusing on using data to informing your digital strategy. So we will dive a little deeper into different channels where you can find data and how you can use it to make your strategy more effective. So let's start with our agenda for today. We will start with some short introductions and learning outcomes for today's masterclass. We will then look into why data is important and how it can help your organization. We will also go deeper into metrics and selecting the ones that matter for you and your organization. And we will spend some time demoing a couple of analytics tools that can help you analyze and collect data. And then we will go into how you can extract insights and make them actionable for your organization. And as always, we will finish up with a Q&A session and next steps as well. And I see some reflections in the chat. So Alba has shared that data makes you feel informed, which is great to hear. And keep that going and share more. And let me just introduce myself. My name is Svetlana. I'm one of the coaches on the Bridge program. And before joining Lightful, I worked mostly in the nonprofit sector in Ukraine, where I'm based. And I was dealing with fundraising, partnerships, digital communications, and campaigns. And I think all of those areas rely on data heavily. So either you are dealing with fundraising or comms or any other areas in your organization, I really believe that data-based and data-driven approach is really helpful in understanding whether your strategies work. So I hope that this workshop today will be really helpful for you. And it's not just me on the call today, it's also my colleague Pilar, so I will hand over to her to introduce herself as well.
Thank you, Svilana. I think I know most of you, and you know me as well. I have a background in digital communications and marketing as well, and actually a lot of it involved data, especially when I was starting my career. I had to analyze loads of data to understand what was working in different social media channels, in different websites, and also do some social listening. So I have used some social listening tools to understand what were the conversations around different topics. So really love data, actually. So it will be really nice to share that with you today. And if you want to get to know all of us a little bit more, we can share in the chat a link to the Meet the Coaches page on the Lightful Academy, so you can read a little bit more about our experience. So let's go through the learning outcomes that we have for you today. As you can see here, we are going to look at metrics. Of course, we are going to look at metrics, so you are able to identify which metrics align with your goals. And then we are going to help you understand how to decide on the right tools. So how do you collect the data? How do you analyze the data? And what tools are best for you? And then from that analysis, how do you extract actionable insights so you can make informed decisions about your strategy, your campaigns, and so on? But let's get started with some questions for you. So the first is a poll. It's a poll to understand your experience with analytics. So is how you use analytics. So do you currently use any kind of analytics, and how confident you feel at the moment? So I'll leave the poll up for you to tell us, so we can tailor the session to you as well based on your level of knowledge. So I see so most of you are using some kind of analytics, so at least you check them. And some of you are already using it. Actually, the majority of you are already using it to inform your strategy. In terms of confidence, I see you are, some of you are in a 2 and then between a 4 and a 5. So hopefully there will be a little bit for everyone. I'll leave the poll up for another minute there. And now I have a Slido for you. So we are gonna get to know a little bit more about how you use analytics. To participate in the Slido, you can scan the QR code with your mobile phone, for example, or you can go to slido.com and type the code that you see on the screen. And then just tell us, what is your biggest challenge when measuring your digital performance? So we are interested in knowing what your challenges are, so we can help you solve some of those challenges here today. Either with the demos or with the information that we are sharing. So tell us, what is your biggest challenge when measuring your digital performance? And I see a comment from Jose. Instagram has a dashboard and also provides monthly recaps. Other platforms provide similar insights. Okay, so you are answering a question that was asked before. Okay, so if you can go to slido.com and type the code. Oh, I see already an answer here. So one of the challenges share is really understanding what to do with the information. Really good. That's a really good point. Knowing how to analyze the data, taking the time to look at it. Someone is really well versed in analytics. So please, if you're well versed in analytics, share with the group, because it will be really good to get your take on the different things that we are discussing today. What else do we have? Relevance and real data. So avoiding bots. That's really interesting as well. Okay, so we have some really good questions. So we're gonna definitely talk about how what to do with the information and how to extract actionable insights as well. So some of you, the code is not working. If the code is not working, just type it on the chat and we'll take it into account. Okay, so let's go to the next question that we have, and is what types of data do you collect? And I promise this is the last question before we start sharing some information with you. So what types of data do you already collect? So what kind of data points you're already gathering? So especially if you already use analytics, if you are already well versed in analytics, please share with the group what types of data do you already collect? And you can type it in the chat in this case, really easy and accessible for everyone. So what types of data? Okay, so we have Barbara saying followers, engagement, views. What else? What other data points? From any channel, from any digital channel. Views, impressions, reach, great. So Patricia as well, social media and website views, constant contact. Okay, so from email as well. Non-followers, views, growth, lots of followers as well. The times that followers engage with your content, that's a really good one, Jose, as well. Really useful. Either page views, unique visitors, bounce rate, session duration, click-through rates, top performing pages, follower growth, engagement rates, likes, shares, and comments. Those are really, really good. So we're going to have a look at more data points and how we build a better picture of what's happening in your digital activity, what is happening with your channels. So let's have a look at some more data points that you can collect. And we have some more examples for you here. If we go to the next slide. Okay, so the way I want you to think about collecting data from your supporters, from people that follow you, from people that connect with you is as a journey. So at the beginning, for example, when someone is making a donation to you, you may have some really basic data about them. So you need to think about that journey that they go through and how you get to know them better and better. So at the beginning, you may just know their name, their address, their email address, maybe their something about their payment information and the amount they donated. But as you continue to know each other, you will collect more data. So you will collect data about their age, their interests, maybe their employment, maybe other organizations they are supporting. And once the relationship gets stronger, you will build a better picture of each of your supporters by adding data, perhaps about additional gifts, any events they are attending, their online engagement, further donations. So these data points may come from many different channels, like a website, your social media pages, your emails. And now I want to show you something else, which is the data analysis pyramid. Some of you maybe are already familiar with this, but it's a great way to understand how to make, how to extract information, knowledge, and wisdom from data. So it's about looking what we are doing with data and how we move up to analyze it and extract meaningful insights that can actually inform your strategy. Data alone, actually, if you think about data, does not have any actual meaning. Raw data is simply a collection of unprocessed facts, figures, and without context, it's just numbers and words. Raw data may include things like donor names, donation history, event attendance, social media interactions, or website visits. And now we move up into information. So what is information? Once you organize that data, you put it in context and start asking questions. Then it becomes information. And information is then useful to answer questions like who, what, where, or when. So what is information? Information is organized data in a meaningful format. So information may be donor segmentation based on how frequently they donate to you or their giving levels, or it may be identifying donors who have not given in a certain amount of time. And then we move up the pyramid to knowledge. So knowledge is what happens when we analyze the data, interpret the information to uncover trends. So this is the how and the why. Knowledge emerges when we identify patterns and relationships in the information. So for example, understanding which types of campaigns are most effective for different donor segments. And finally, it comes wisdom. So wisdom is at the top of the pyramid and is the ability to make well-informed decisions based on understanding the knowledge that we are gaining. So for example, using the insights to target specific donor segments with personalized appeals, or optimizing communication channels to identify different potential major donors. An example of this could be that based on all the knowledge and the insights that you have, monthly donors, you know that monthly donors are more likely to give larger total amounts. So what do? You create a campaign to encourage more donors to sign up to give monthly. So you can see how this knowledge will lead to more predictable and increased revenue over time. And you see the whole thing here, like the whole picture. So by moving up this pyramid from data to wisdom, your organization can develop more effective strategies, build better relationships with donors, and achieve your fundraising goals. So it may even help you predict future behaviors, such as identifying potential major donors in your data. And now I'm going to hand you over to Svilana to talk about why data is so important.
Thank you, Pilar, and thank you all for sharing your responses in the chat and in Slido. So I see like most of you are already data pros. So I think you already understand why data is important. So data can be a great guide to shape your strategy and to inform your decision making. And here are some of the outcomes of analyzing data for nonprofits. So firstly, it can help you improve your understanding of your audience and the channels where you are present. So you can understand where your audience is present and how to adapt your messaging for different audiences. It can also help you create effective content so that people want to engage with and drive results. So for example, you can develop effective calls to action depending on the audience. And it is essential when communicating your impact and your results, as it enables to tell a story about your progress as well. Overall, data will help you guide your communications, your campaigns, your events, and link to stronger strategies that drives results. So let's take a look at an example to illustrate the power of data in the nonprofit world, as data can also help you increase engagement with your supporters and stakeholders. So here we're showing a case study from Charity Water. They used real-time data for tracking for their water initiatives, resulting in both improved transparency to donors and an impressive 50% surge in donations. By providing detailed reports on how funds are allocated and the impact of projects, they maintained donor trust and engagement. And we will share a couple of links for you in the chat so you can take a deeper look after our session today and read about this story. But I think this is a really great example of how using data can really effectively demonstrate your impact and persuade your supporters to support you even more and in the longer term. So how you can start adding context to the data you have. Firstly, it is about adding context and selecting what you want to measure. And a great way to start is looking at your SMART goals. By aligning your data to your digital strategy goals, you will make your life easier. You will analyze exactly what matters, so you don't have to spend a lot of time on measuring all the data points, because we know there are so many, and the amount of data we have online is huge and sometimes can feel overwhelming. So that's why filtering through the data by focusing on your goals and your supporters' journey within your organization will give you a really great focus. And your SMART goals are likely to fall under one of these categories following your supporters' journey. So the first step of this journey is awareness. So at this stage, people know about your organization, they know who they are, and they know about your mission and your impact. Then we have engagement. So at this stage, people interact with your organization in some way, for example, by following your social media pages or attending your website. Then we have interest. So at this stage, they show an interest in what you do and are likely to get involved. So for example, they are interested in how to donate or how to get involved and how to volunteer, for example. And next we have conversion. So they finally take an action and support you, whether that is through donating, volunteering, or advocating for your cause. So if you think about these 4 buckets, then it becomes much easier to choose the metrics that matter to your organization. And here are some examples of digital metrics you can find across digital channels. So under awareness, when we're measuring awareness, you can find metrics like impressions, reach, visits, and percentage of new users coming to your website. Then within engagement, you can find metrics of interaction. So whether it is page views, time spent on your site, or likes or comments on your social media channels. Then we have interest, and this goes a step further. And in some cases, it could also be interactions on social media posts that are aligned to supporting you in some way or another. And it could be a click on your donation page, for example. And finally, conversion metrics are those that show a concrete action, such as number of donations, signatures to a petition, or signing up as a volunteer, for example. So let us know if you have anything to add to this metrics, as I see that you are quite advanced in terms of using data. So are there any other metrics that you would like to these buckets? Let us know in the chat, and I will give you some time to answer this question, and then we will move on to demonstrating our analytics tools. Is there anything else you think we're missing? Anything else you would add? Anything else maybe you're tracking as well? Reach, yes, reach is a great metric as well. So I think I would add it to awareness, as it is measuring how much people you are actually reaching with your communication. So I think it works for awareness. Yeah, this is a great addition. And if you have anything else to add, please let us know in the chat. But just not to take too much of your time, I will hand over to Pilar to do some demonstration of some analytics tools you can use in your organization as well.
Thank you, Svilana. So for the demonstration, actually, I want to ask you if anyone has any specific goal that they would like to take a look at, because I'm going to show you two tools today. I'm going to show you the Meta Analytics and the Google Analytics. So if you want to share one of your goals for one of your campaigns or your digital activity, I can also show you, where to get this data, maybe how to use it if you have any specific goal. But you can think about it as I get ready to show you. So let me share. First, I'm going to share Meta. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so you should be able to see now the Meta page. So basically, this is our page, and you should all have access to this. So you go to the Meta Business Suite here on the left-hand side, and as you can see, that opens another window for me. So again, I come back to the left-hand side and I go to the insights. So the insights, this first of all is going to show me just an overview of all my statistics, and you will probably be familiar with all of these, like views and reach and interactions, follows, if I have any recent content that I publish or any recommendations, right? And what I want to show you after that is the audience. So when I go to audience, I'm able to see, okay, who are the followers in my Facebook page? What are their ages, their gender, the cities where they are, the top countries. And as well, I can change the date. Well, it doesn't allow me to change the for the followers, but it will do it for the other statistics as well. But I can change it for Instagram. So when you go to the Meta Insights page, it will have your Instagram and your Facebook. So you are able to see more detailed data about your Instagram account that you may be able to see maybe on the mobile app. I'm just gonna check the chat. Okay, so there's this comment here from Milenka. We offer grief support groups and we would like to increase attendance for young adults and high school students. It's been challenging. That's a challenge for me as well, I guess. So increase attendance. Okay. So maybe think, Milenka, about the question that Simran is asking. So you're more interested in click-through rates? Do you have a dedicated sign-up page? Because maybe when we go to analytics, we can see, okay, if you know, for example, how many people arrive to that page and whether they click or not click. So I'll show you how to do that when we move to Google Analytics on your page. But related to Meta, it could be about looking at the engagement of your content related to your goal. So if you're posting content related to this specific goal, are people engaging? So are people commenting? Are people sharing? Are people liking it? And if not, we need to then ask why. So we're always asking questions to the data in terms of like, what is happening? And do you see any trends? For example, do you see posts that are doing better? And what do those posts have? Do they have images? Do they have videos? Do they have a shorter description, for example? Do they have hashtags? Look into the data and see what answers the data gives you in a way. So this is where you look at the content. So what I'm showing you right now is the posts that were published recently, and you see the reach, the likes and reactions, the comments and the shares. And here you can adjust the dates. So this is really interesting because you can look at the last month or you can look at this whole year, for example. Like you see here, you will be able to see now as it's loading. Yeah, so you will be able to see the whole year and whether you want just posts or stories. This is for Instagram only, but again, we can change it as well. And you can export all of this data if you want to build graphs, for example, as well. So what else can I show you? I can show you as well that you can change the way that the data is displayed. For example, if you want to show the order by reach or the order by likes and reactions, you see the ones that had the most reach at the top, the most likes and reactions at the top. In this case, we have the same one, or the most comments or the most shares, right? So that already gives you something to play with in terms of understanding what is working for you. And finally, I want to show you the results, which is another dashboard that you can have a look at. And it's really good to see how things are going in general with your Facebook page or with your Instagram. So here you see the total number of views, total reach. And what is interesting here is look at the peaks. So basically look at when you get a lot of reach and why that's happening. So always ask questions to the data in terms of understanding, why do I have more visits or more follows? What did I post the day before? What is kind of driving that? And now I'll move to Google Analytics, which may be more useful for the goal that you share, Milenka. So for those familiar with Google Analytics, this will be pretty usual to see. So the first thing that I see is my active users, my new users, and the average engagement on the site. So how long people are spending on our site. And again, I'm able to look at, for example, the last 90 days or the last 12 months. It's always good to look on a monthly basis, but I also recommend seeing at the trends from one year to another. So let's look at the last 90 days, for example, in this case. What I want to show you here is things that you can look at. For example, retention. Retention is really interesting because it shows you the number of new users. So if you have an increased number of new users because you have recently been doing a campaign, that means that more people know about your organization. So you are doing well in that awareness column that Svilana was talking about, right? So you're raising awareness around your organization, new people are getting to know you. On the other hand, returning users, another positive sign of returning users is that people just don't come to your website once, they come back because they want to know more, they are getting to know you, they maybe come back to donate to your website as well. So these two stats are going to be really important. Then something else that is important is, okay, where are people coming from? Which channels are working for me? So you go to traffic acquisition, and there is where you see the whether they are coming direct. So people type in your website directly on the browser, whether it's through Google, whether it's email, whether it's a referral link, or we don't know in this case, like an assign, or organic social, right? So what happens here? This gives you answers as well. So if your organic search is really low, perhaps you should invest on SEO. Or if your organic social is low, how can you drive more people to your website through social media, right? So these are all very interesting. In our case, it's a very specific case. So most of our traffic is direct because people know us directly from talking to them. But for you, may be different. Okay, so another important part is content. And I'm just gonna stop because I see some comments. Okay, so it's just the same conversation. So engagement. So if you go to pages and screens, this is where we can see, okay, what are the pages that people are visiting the most? What is the most popular content in our website or the least popular content? So here we are able to see our top 10 pages and what are people interested about. So here's where you can see, okay, what happened? Are enough people coming to that landing page talking about my program? And if so, what happens after? Are they clicking through? Are they continue or are they leaving? And then is when you review the content on that website and see whether something is not working correctly. Are you being clear enough? Is there anywhere to go from that page so they can continue to know more about you, for example? So these are the questions, again, that you need to ask the data. And finally, if you're interested in knowing, okay, so I get, for example, you get a lot of organic traffic, organic visits. What are people searching when they are landing on my website? So you go to the search console. Ooh. So you go to the search console and you go to queries. And here you can see the keywords that people use to find our website. So you may be able to see the same for you. This I find really, really useful because it gives you an insight on how people know about you and how people search for you and find you. So this is going to be an interesting tool to use. And then the landing pages where they end up from Google as well. So this is really, really useful. So I don't know if you have any questions about the demo before we moved into other content, but this is an opportunity for us to, to see how can we help you use these tools better? Is there anything that you would like to know about Google Analytics, about Meta? So I open it to you. And if you may not have questions now, so you can always book a one-to-one with us, a coaching call with any of us, and we can go through your website or through your meta analytics together as well. Okay. So I think there is a question. Do we need to insert any code or widget to activate Google Analytics on our website? Yes. So if you're managing your website directly, it depends on the platform, but normally there are widgets that allow you to add the code from Google Analytics. So we can perhaps send you some instructions afterwards, but in essence, what it is that you set up a Google Analytics account that gives you a code that then you insert in your website. And then Google Analytics is able to read what's happening on your website. So on WordPress, for example, that happens through a widget, and most platforms have a widget to make it really easy for you. But you may also have a developer that can add the code directly into the source code of the website. So, but again, we can follow up with more info. Alba saying, do you use any Google Ads keywords to optimize? So I guess, Alba, that question is related to the Search Console that I was showing. So, normally this is just a little bit of information about what is happening in terms of how people are landing on your website from Google. If you want to go further and say, okay, I want to do something to optimize my website, to make it more visible to people on search engines, you will have to do a more intense kind of research on keywords. So maybe, Alba, we can recommend you some courses to take as well on our Lightful Academy. But I also recommend that you book a session with us, because sometimes we focus intensely on one topic, and we can talk to you about SEO and how you can improve your website as well in that sense. Cool. And Vilana already shared some guidance. So Ira just says, what happens on Edge? I'm not sure I understand that question. Maybe if you can be more specific, or maybe something that I don't know, but I'm gonna go back to that question later. So Anna Marie, how can I see the number of Facebook and Instagram followers I gain each month? I can show you that now. Actually, I can go back. So normally you see it, I think, yeah, you can see it here in the follows. So these are the follows, right? So this is for Facebook. So you can see it, this is for the last, I think I did it for the last 6 months here. So you can see what you gain each month, and then you can export the data as well and see it week by week. And the same you will see for Instagram. So you see it directly here. So you see this is the Meta Business Suite, and this is results. So is straight here. And again, if you want to like look at all the detail, like, okay, what happened this specific month, I actually recommend that you download the report, because it will give you a table. And there was another question. Great, I will do that. Okay. Good. I think those are all the questions. But if you have more, we have some more time at the end as well. But oh, Ira, you gave some information. This involves giving people information about traffic on our site. I'm not sure they are trustworthy. Oh, I see what you mean. So basically, by installing Google Analytics, you are giving Google, yes, information about your site. There's a little bit of there's a privacy law, of course, depending on the country where you are, on the region where you are. In this case, that will protect you. But I'll need to share with you maybe more information about what you share with Google, but you do share some information, because that's how Google works. So basically, Google offers free tools in exchange for data. That's the essence, but we can share more information about how that works exactly. But there are other analytic tools that you can use as well. So this is good. And I don't know if I missed any. Okay, so maybe plausible. We can send some more information later if you want, because I want to make sure that we go into the next bit, and then we have time at the end. Maybe we share more information about other analytics tools. So I'm gonna go into the next part now. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, so MailChimp. So we talked about web analytics, we talked about social media analytics. Now we need to talk about email. So MailChimp or Constant Contact, that is one that you already mentioned, are tools that allow you to see what's happening with the emails that you send your supporters, your subscribers. So this specific example is about MailChimp. So you can see top stats like the emails you have sent, the opening rates, their clicks, whether people are unsubscribing. So what's happening with your emails? And you can also see comparisons between campaigns that you are sending, which is really helpful because then you can look further at a comparison over time and see that if the changes you are making, for example, to your email strategy are having an impact. And we are going to go into a little bit of an activity that I think will help you put all of this into practice. So we are going to send you into a breakout room. And what I would like you to think about is together choose a SMART goal by each of your organizations, maybe for an upcoming campaign or for your digital strategy. So think about your SMART goals and then pick 2 useful metrics that will help you measure that SMART goal. Discuss it with other participants in your group, and then we'll come back and share how you're going to measure those SMART goals. So we'll send you now into the breakout rooms. There you go. So you are with 1 or 2 people. If you cannot join a breakout room because you cannot talk at the moment, you can stay here and maybe just write it down and share it with us. So we'll see you in about, we're going to give you about between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on how you're doing. But I think maybe 5 may be enough for you. So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Hello, hello. How was that discussion? I know Iris sent a goal already on the chat, but let's hear from all of you. Share one insight from your discussion. Is it easy to assign metrics to a goal? Do we want to assign too many, or do we want to assign just one? What happens when we are trying to match metrics to one of your SMART goals? So I'll read up what Iris sent. So increase newsletter subscriber list by 25% by November the 1st. So that's the goal. The way you're doing it is promoting signups, forms across social media, community events, and website. And metrics, conversion rate and subscriber increase rate. Okay, so they are good, both good rates in terms of like you want to measure that you are actually subscribing, increasing your subscribers, right? So the subscriber increase rate is a good way. And then I would recommend like the conversion rate is a secondary metric as well. So you use it to understand what is happening in that journey. So are people converting from the different kind of activities that you're doing? Okay, what else? Any other person that wants to share? You can unmute as well if you want. Okay. Maybe we don't have more. Okay. So, Erin, another thought here, it could be that you can also measure the engagement of your content to know if people are engaging with the content before they land on your subscribing page. But I'm gonna now hand you over to Svilana to talk a little bit more about actionable insights.
Thank you, Pilar. So let's now talk at how you turn the data you collect into actionable insights. So if you remember the data analysis pyramid we showed you at the beginning of the session, knowledge can only come when you interpret the data in the context of your organization and how that information can shape your decisions. So actionable insights are clear conclusions that can lead you to make a decision about where to invest your efforts and budget, extract learnings about what to do in your next campaign, such as what content to create, what channels to use, and more. So firstly, you need to translate technical findings into clear, concise language that everyone in your organization can understand. So to make sure everyone is on the same page. Then bring data from different sources together into one place to be able to draw conclusions and start recognizing patterns. And this allows you to see what channels perform best and what content works in each channel, for example. And then make sure to filter and focus on specific metrics you choose to measure your SMART goals against. So this shows you what's important first and prevents data overload. As we mentioned before, there are too many metrics, so make sure to focus on the ones that actually matter to you. And asking the right questions first will lead you finding the answers you need to extract actionable insights for your organization. Then visualize your data if possible. So charts and graphs can also help you show trends more clearly, and you may be able to draw even more insights from visualizing your information. So creating dashboards can also be a great way to see what's working and what is not working so well and compare different data sets. And also draw conclusions that align with your goals and inform future actions. So what are you going to take forward and what should be communicated? Who are you reporting these insights to? These are all important questions to create a good report and communicate it to your stakeholders. So for example, are you trying to show the impact of your campaign, or you're trying to secure more budget for digital communications and fundraising activities? And once you have your key insights, learning, and conclusions, it is time to create a report. So reporting on your results and impact is an important way to document your performance, your processes, progresses, and also how the insights will shape your future decisions on upcoming campaigns and digital strategies. So a good report helps you communicate the importance of your work and why investing in digital is essential. But what should a good report include? So firstly, it should include a summary of key results. So what you did, where you did it, and what was the outcome. And this is where you include key metrics based on your goals. And it may be worth reminding your readers what those goals were. Then you can see what was the progress against those goals. And we would like to also add your highlights, but also your challenges as well. For example, if an email campaign did not work, what blockers did you come across and what happened and what you can do in the future, for example, to improve your email campaign's performance in the future. All this will culminate with learnings and next steps. So how are you taking all your conclusions and insights forward, and how are you shaping your future strategy, and what areas need to be improved as well? And we can see an example of the San Francisco Marine Food Bank's report that we have shared in the chat. And I really recommend you take a look at this report because I think it is a really great example of how you can make your reports interactive, interesting, and really engaging for your audience. And there are also really great metrics that are showcased there, but they're also really easy to digest, and they also accompanied with really great visuals, and also slightly lead up you to a call to action, so to support an organization. So I think this is a really great example of how you can structure and showcase your report on your website. So we have shared an example on in the chat, and I really advise you to take a look. And before we wrap up, and with everything we shared today, tell us what is your next step after today. So feel free to come off mute or share in the chat. So what would be your next step after today's session? Is there anything you would like to change? Any data bit that you would like to explore? Any tool that you would like to set up for your organization? Would anyone like to volunteer and share? Barbara has shared Explore Google Analytics. This is a great first step. Wonderful, and I hope that it will be useful. And Milenka shared enrolling in Google Analytics Academy. We'll explore more about audience's age. Wonderful. Yeah, I hope this will be helpful, especially in your goal of attracting more younger audience to your events. And Alba has shared taking the Google Ads course, and I just set up my 2 next coach meetings. Wonderful. So I would be happy to meet you in our coaching calls and discuss your data sets in more detail, and hopefully get some insights on how you can use this data in your day-to-day work and to improve your digital strategy. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for sharing those next steps. This sounds really great. And now let's move on to some of the next steps you can take after today's session as well. So for this, I will hand over to Pilar.
Thank you. So we are just wrapping up, and we just have, before we go into next steps, a final poll to ask you how you feel now about measuring your digital performance, and whether you will make any changes after this session, and also to tell us if you found this session useful as well. So I'll leave it up for a minute whilst I'll start telling you about the next steps. So if you're interested in continuing to learn more about measurement, we also have a course on the Lifeful Academy, which is all about how to measure digital. And we'll post a link in the chat. And also there's another thing that you can do. So on the Lifeful platform, we have the tool Campaign Planner. And if you haven't used it to plan your campaigns yet, I encourage you to do so, because once you have the plan for your campaigns, you can use the same tool to actually capture your insights on that exact campaign and then export it as a PDF and share it with the team. So that's a great way to have a full picture of your campaign. So we'll share the link in the chat as well if you haven't used that tool. And of course, some of you have already booked a coaching session with us, but if you haven't done so, we can go deeper with you into any of these topics. So please do that as well. And we wanted to leave some time for questions too. So if you still have some questions, now we have a couple of minutes to dedicate to those questions. So happy to answer any questions that you have about measurement, analytics, metrics. And if we cannot do it now, obviously we'll send you some more information later on, or we can go deeper into the coaching session as well. So I'll wait a minute or so to see if there are any questions. But I hope you found the session interesting as well, and practical, and you're able to implement some of these learnings already. Okay. Great to hear, Milenka. Okay, so if there are no more questions, we can start wrapping up, and you get back 1 extra minute in your day. So that's great. And we'll hope to see you in the next session and in the coaching sessions, and keep learning and using the tools as well. So great to see you. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.